Sup guys? In my last video I got a comment that said I sound like a robot when I speak, so in this video I'm going to be trying my best to replicate that magic. It's been a pretty long time since I last tested submarines, and quite a few new powerful ones have been released since then, as well as a couple of unique augments. In particular, I gathered data for Flasher, U556 Meta, U47, and Albacore with their unique augments, and I redid Da Vinci and Archerfish as well. I did not test Homura from the Senan Kagura collab though, because I forgot she existed and haven't even leveled her. Unlike the last set of tests, which were done against Albion, Huanchang as an enemy moves a lot less, so the subs did more damage across the board. Also, I did not use full sub formations this time, and only opted to test them as flagships, as we already found out that the other two positions are unreliable, especially the top one. I sortied each submarine one by one, except for Archerfish, who needs another USS submarine to proc her skill, and U556 Meta, who needs any other submarine to proc hers. For equipment, I used 2 + 13 bidders on all of them, along with +10 auxiliaries. Everyone used Snorkel plus Hull, except for Da Vinci and Archerfish, who used Oxytorp in place of Snorkel. I used Cats as the reload from Cats can make or break the loadouts of some submarines. My Cats are giving me 40 reload, 90 torp, and 3% damage. I'll begin by talking about Albacore. She has a burn, so I ran Felix, who does not have any sources of damage over time, and has no trouble surviving as my vanguard. By taking the total raid damage, subtracting the end screen damage of both Felix and Albacore, I was able to isolate Albacore's burn damage. Then I just added the burn damage back to her end screen damage to get her total. Coincidentally, her burn did exactly 200 damage per tick, usually for exactly 10 ticks, for a nice and even 2000 damage per run. The rest of the subs were relatively straightforward, as nobody else had damage over time effects aside from Da Vinci, who was unable to proc hers since the boss did not step on her mines. Of all the subs, only U47 and Da Vinci were oathed and level 125, so I adjusted for their level advantage. Here, I didn't adjust for oath however, but I can show what it would probably look like if it ends up being relevant. Before I continue, I just wanted to mention that this spreadsheet as well as the testing footage will be linked in the description of the video. You can find the raw data on the first tab, and I'll now move on to the more presentable version. The first thing to notice is that Flasher and U556 Meta are definitely the strongest of the bunch in terms of damage. While Flasher's average is slightly higher than that of U556's, they trade places every few runs, so I don't think there's an actual difference here. They also both have 10% bonus damage against light armor, so no differences there as well. U556 does have bonuses in Operation Siren though, and that could definitely swing things slightly in her favor when it's in play. However, Flasher does have a slow, as well as buffs for Gato class submarines, while U556 Meta only has her damage. I would say that Flasher is probably the best submarine in the game now, but unless you're sortieing her with another Gato class submarine, which you probably shouldn't, she does have to take the flagship spot. U556 is in second place with potential to deal more damage than Flasher, but lacks the utility. The third highest damage is Da Vinci, but if we adjust for oath stats, she doesn't really deal noticeably higher damage than Archerfish. Therefore, Archerfish would probably be better than Da Vinci, as she offers Flasher a torpedo and accuracy buff. If you're going to sortie both Flasher and U556 Meta, who are the two highest damaging subs, you will need a third sub in the top position, and Archerfish would be perfect for that role since she offers something aside from her damage, while Da Vinci's damage would be severely handicapped in the top position with nothing to make up for it. Finally, U47 and Albacore dealt the lowest damage of the bunch. The average damage here for Albacore does include her burn, by the way. Albacore would likely have dealt slightly more damage than U47 if she had been 200 affection, but there is no tangible difference. And also, before I forget to mention, estimated unoathed damage is just their damage divided by 1.05. So it's not an exact number, but it should be within the ballpark. Once again, looking at Albacore's damage, even if we added 18% damage from Archerfish and Flasher's buffs, Albacore would still be outdamaged by U556 meta. Her Hunter buff hunts Destroyers, Light Cruisers, and Carriers. Since Destroyers and Light Cruisers are almost always light armor, she only has an advantage against Carriers. If she's being buffed by Archerfish, Flasher, and you're against the Carrier, then she could potentially find a spot in the fleet, just barely edging out U556 meta. Anyways, that's pretty much all of the analysis for this video. I hope that someone else will be able to test Homura, since I probably won't be able to by the end of this event. In any case, despite me making these videos, I probably plan to continue using U47, Da Vinci, and add in Flasher, even though two of them are not the optimal picks anymore. I personally don't find it necessary to min-max submarines to that degree, and they're quite susceptible to being power crept by a new submarine that just deals a few % more damage than the old ones. I hope you found the video informative. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.